Bonjour, my name is Mr. Hugo Famine. It all started back in 1780 when we had our first harvest failure. My crops wouldn't grow. That was a problem, and our nation was short of food crops. They would not provide us with extra seeds to grow. And our bread prices kept going up. So we had to, not only did we have to pay extra for bread prices, we had to pay taxes that for the taxes that the rich people didn't pay. And also, our agriculture dominated 75% of our economy. So we did not have any other we had no other backups if our agriculture failed. Us farmers in the 18th century used antiquated labor-intensive methods. These methods did not produce large yields, and they were susceptible in harsh weather conditions. We didn't have enough money to change our farming techniques because the government took all of our money from either taxes or having to pay outrageous prices for our food. The 1780s was a poor decade for harvesting. In the beginning of the 1780s, there were many severe droughts. Also, there were volcanic eruptions that lasted throughout the 1780s. In the back half of the 1780s, there were many heavy rains and hail. In 1788, there was a hailstorm that decimated a large volume of crops. In 1789, the national government tried to take action to prevent famine. However, by the start of 1789, nation cities found themselves critically short of food. They tried their hardest to try to help us, but they didn't. They just made it worse, which led to the French Revolution. People just started storming the government offices because they thought it was their fault that they didn't do anything to help. But they tried to help us. They just weren't successful. These shortages were particularly acute in Paris, where outrageously the bread prices increased from 8 sous to 14.5 sous. That's roughly between 70 and 90% of our weekly wage. How are we supposed to provide for our family when we only make that much in a week? And on top of that, taxes take away most of that money, so we're left with nothing. We don't even have food for our family. So we had to scavenge for food all over in our area. This led to many rebellions against the government. They were not doing anything to help them because they kept raising the bread prices. Also, to make our bread, they put sawdust in it. They didn't even use real flour. Let me show you what it looks like. This is what we had to eat on a daily basis. We didn't even get real food.